All right, juniors, where are we at in our 2-week progression here?
Mine's good.
You're supposed to test and evaluate today, right? Is that right? Test and evaluate? You're supposed to have a product? Okay. Before we go too far, let's talk about what just happened next door. Questions you didn't want to ask over there? The ASVAB test is not only for people going in the military. It's an awesome way for you to figure out what you're good at. Every once in a while there's somebody that's good at something that they don't really enjoy. But that's because they don't enjoy doing it in school. That doesn't mean you won't enjoy doing it in the work world. So this will give you a chance to find out if you're good at one of those things you don't necessarily enjoy in school.
Not that chemistry.
I hated math in school.
No,
But I took the ASVAB and found out I was pretty good at it. I mean, I knew I was pretty good at it anyway, but the math is different. When you start applying logic and scenarios to math, math is way... You do algebra too, but you have to apply it.
It's more real life stuff.
It's more real life stuff.
Not Mr. Moore's crappy teaching. It's like real
No,
life.
don't go there.
Hey, it's a cherry.
No. Okay. It's more real life stuff. Like this class, we're not going to talk about other classes. Okay? It's more real life. It's solve this. Here's a problem. Figure it out. Give me an answer. But you won't by the end of the year. You're going to get lots of practice, I can guarantee you. Especially those of you in both chemistry and physics. You will be good at that by the end of the year, or you'll be good at faking it by the end of the year, or your head will explode. One of those three. Okay? I haven't had a kid with their head exploding yet, and we can get you a headband to just put a little squeeze on there to help you out. Earplugs to keep the fluids from leaking out your ears, something. Got a product? You're ready to do your explanation.
Yeah.
You have a presentation ready.
Why presentation?
Isn't that what you were supposed to do with this? No. You were supposed to build a periodic table? And you're ready to explain your build? That's a presentation. Does it say present in the rubric? Doesn't say presentation? Not at all? How are you going to test and evaluate if you don't have some words ready to help explain? You got words ready to help explain what you did? Isn't that a presentation? Presentations don't necessarily have to mean you get all dressed up, wear your fanciest clothes, stand in front of everybody behind a lectern, all the lights are down, spotlight on you. It doesn't have to mean that. A presentation can mean, Ronnie, tell us what you did today. Explain your product for us. No. You need to listen better. That's a presentation. It's an impromptu, small thing. They can also be that big deal, given the address at graduation. So, you ready for these? Good, you're going to do it anyway. You have your computers out? You have your rubric open? How are you going to evaluate somebody else if you don't have the rubric in front of you? Do we really need a print? Is your rubric in Excel?
We don't have Excel right now, so computers are down in the computer.
Because you're supposed
Okay, so we have to problem solve. This is not going to be normal behavior.
No, she just has to update our computers.
Okay, so somebody can hit print and get
Yeah.
like 15 of them.
No, I can't.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Too hard.
Probably better get about 15 of them.
It's not hard.
I got this. Oh wait,
Good deal. Okay, I got it.
How big are the groups? Are we in pairs? Are we doing this on our own?
I don't know what we're doing.
We're just working together?
Well, you and my group.
So everybody has one? You're going to give your presentation in a group that you're not working with?
Yes.
So if we've been working in this group of 4 and in this group of 3, and have we? Or have you been rotating around?
We've been rotating around.
Okay, so then you can present where you're at. And those guys can actually group up and present where they're at. Which means it's going to get a little loud in here. So you don't have to be the loudest person in the room. You only have to be loud enough to be heard.
Well, like, you freeze up my computer, like whatever, you just turn it like that. Yeah, you look like that. Can I just lock in here?
I don't know.
Wait, what?
That's not too bad.
I don't care if you slap me.
Juniors. Juniors.
I'll go get them.
Yeah, no.
Juniors. A presentation is no good if the audience isn't trying to understand, isn't following along closely, isn't actively listening. Listening is not a passive activity. You cannot just sit there and have listening happen. That's vegging out. When you listen, when you are the audience today, you need to actively listen. You need to take notes. You need to point out things that were done well. Please don't change this. You did that part really good. You need to point out things that were not done well. I don't understand this part even after you explained it. You mispronounced a word. You spelled a word wrong on your PowerPoint, on your poster. Those are important things. Because if I stand up here and I can't pronounce the periodic table and I can't tell you that AU is gold, you don't listen to anything I say after that because you think I'm a moron. Right? So you have to make sure that you don't do those things when you're presenting. You have to point out those things when you're the audience. This is a test. There's going to be some things that are wrong. There's going to be some things that are not as good as they could be, but they're not necessarily wrong. And there's going to be some things that are awesome that can't be changed. It's your job as the audience to find all of those and point them out. Give them a score. Follow the rubric. They either did a good job or they didn't. If they did okay, they didn't do a good job. They get a 0 for whatever that is. I expect a whole bunch of scores between 11 and 51. I expect very few scores above 70. If you're just going to give your friends 75 when they do crappy work, how are they going to get better? That's what every day in my class is about. It's getting better. Figuring something out. Giving your brain a workout. And you can't get better unless people are honest about your work. If the Cougars varsity basketball team practices against the 5th grade girls basketball team, whether it's the boys or the girls team, are they going to get any better during those practices? No. You have to be honest. How many of you can't make a left-handed layup? 95% of the time with no defense. You need to be better. If you miss more than 5 out of 100 with no defense, how many are you going to miss with defense? Way over half of them. This is your practice. Okay? Point out the things that are wrong. Questions on what you have to get done before the day is over. When is your final assignment due? I don't remember. I haven't looked at the rubric since last week. This is 17th? It's Thursday? I don't think we're going to make that. But we'll see. Practice presentations today. Ready, go. Wouldn't be a horrible idea to record yourself and send it. Or just hand over your phone to somebody else and have them record you.
Yeah.
And then they can hand it back to you. And nobody else has a copy of it except you.
Who will pay for that? I'll bring the camera.
A little honest self-evaluation goes a long way.
Oh no, glad that I have a phone. We can't do this privately. Oops. Pretty glad you don't have a phone. It's like 20 days. Probably the reason is probably because of the word staggered. Hey, kid, so presenting like what we did. I don't know what I did. This is Hey, come here. And the things I didn't have were,
But I don't care.
lot shapes. Hey, I don't get where you're trying to stop. That is Oh my God.
What?
They're not going here too. That are all the same.
Don't get one.
Hey, what are you trying to say? Like, explain like what you did on this,
Mhm.
and that's it.
And why it's better, and what kind of person would like it more than the original, and then also explain
So
what
can
things
we
you
make like a
can't
PowerPoint?
tell from there. If you wanted to. You don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to.
Can we meet a group?
No,
Why?
because you have to do it on your own.
Okay.
This is an individual thing. You have to know about the periodic table. Our chemistry class is kind of worthless.
Hold on.
I gotta make a new one of that.
Hi, bars. So real quick.
Okay.
Good. Hey, stop! Oh my God. Hey, okay. Name it again. What you did.
You'll get over that. Camera shy?
Hey, no, back.
It's all in the rubric.
No.
Sure it is.
So these were like what though?
You modify it. Is it you modify it from your
Modern gases and that's my one written as like
Right, but your explanation tells us what's in there and what isn't in
Okay. Well, on this there is, that's all right to talk about. How would
Okay, everybody take a time out. I just saw a 6 out of 8. That's incorrect. That's a 0 out of 8. If they didn't do enough to get an 8, then they didn't do enough and they get a 0.
What? What do you say?
There's an 8 right there.
So they must fail there.
Right next to that, you either put an 8 or you put a 0.
So brainstorming is not.
They either did a good job or they didn't. It's a light switch. It's either on or it's off. They either get all the points or they get none of the points.
So if
What?
we get all the points, we have to redo it.
But, you can't take away points unless you tell them why.
So
You
here,
think what point was count?
hey,
You have to explain why.
so I
You
give
take
her
one
this, I give her this and she brings it.
You explain your oral with
And
it.
then if there's something wrong with it, like I tell you what's wrong and then she fixes it.
Only-
You write what's wrong.
We only
Try to
have
fix
two
it.
people, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I have this. You have five.
Time out one more second, people.
I know how to do this.
Focus a little bit. Holy squirrel.
Ugh.
Okay? Your grade today is a formative grade based upon how much try I see from you.
Okay. You got it.
Your grade here, if you get an 11 on this, that doesn't go in the grade book. Whether you did a good job of explaining and talking and evaluating the other people gets you a grade. It's gonna be a very low value grade, it's not gonna be 100 points in the grade book, it's gonna be a couple. But it's gonna be based upon whether you do these things correctly or not. Okay? So, if somebody does something and they do a 6 out of 8, which is not bad, 75%, right? Is the same as 3 over 4? I think that's one of those math things that Mr. Roberts was talking about this morning. Robert's son? Roberts. If they do something that's about 3/4 of what they should, you need to tell them that. And then tell them, you got about 3/4 of this, but I still need you to talk about, or you didn't do a good job explaining this part. Be specific in your critiques. Okay? Being able to point out the flaws is just as important as being able to do it right. Being able to communicate that to someone else. Because it doesn't matter if I know absolutely everything in the world about chemistry if I can't teach it to you. Right? If I can't communicate it. So that communication part is really important. So one of the things that you will be graded on is your written feedback and your oral feedback. So I need to hear you telling people things. I need to see you writing things. And then you get your points for it. And yes, you have to do the math on your own. When you hand that over to somebody, you should be able to take percent, next to the word percentage, and a total points. Down at the bottom. Questions? Who presented over here? And is it going to be a thing of beauty? Is it going to be an A or a B? Probably not. Doesn't take very many zeros to get out of the A's and B's, does it? How many of those zeros were pretty good but not quite good enough? If most of them were pretty good but not quite good enough, then he did a good job. Oh, we're not looking for that.
15.
Percent or points? 15 out of 46 is roughly 33%. 15 out of 45 is a 33. It's going to be a 32 or 33%. But you have to do that. And yes, you can start on the There's all the right. Every time you take points away, you have to write. There has to be a lie. Yes. Then just make somewhere. You could also use rolling over. And if you do here, and here. So when I do take the points off right here, I'll make sure it's separate boxes. So that the evaluatee can understand that the points here got taken away because this here got taken away.
Say, they explain how they did it, and how they recorded it.
If you think that everything they did was really organized, you can do it. But we have to wait. Because did he explain it already? And did he write about all of this stuff? Did he show you the writing of all of this stuff? Today. On the Word doc. Because the organization thing, you know, would be both this and the I mean, this is all really organized, and then the writing was just chaos. Then this is going to be bad for. If you're both organized, then yeah, go for it. You're both organized. How are we doing over here? What color? And that one was printed when? 1998. I go look on the internet. I go look at 3 or 4 of them on the internet. see if this one's wrong or that one. And who knows it? Is that you, Thompson?
I am.
Hannah knows it. Good job.
Me? Oh, 99.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Oh, big dog.
I don't have any in my bag.
Geez, so now you're like quick to go to lunch, aren't you? Yeah? I'm waiting till she pulls up her thing. Oh, so that's 0. Here, you can put it up. Here, you can read mine. Here you go, Bree. You can read mine now. I talked about all those.
Hey, who made mine?
I will.
You got 12, 15, and 18.
I'll be one of them. Thank you. Thank you.
Still.
Right,
Oh, this
but
is
they're
great.
consistent,
I
right?
remember my name.
So they're probably on point. They're probably pretty close to reality.
Oh,
It's when you get a 15 and an 18 and a 86. That's when you go, somebody's not doing the right thing.
Okay.
And actually, you're gonna have to count one of the great here today, right? You're gonna count one of the great here. Just have one of the great here. And you know these people there watching? If they didn't care about you, they'd give you
What?
It's supposed to be little. So they put it with
So that's pretty good. Well, I need to tell you to get up at 8. Oh, you need to Tom Dad right there. And black shape of those. Hold on, John. SLG, you know what that is. Beautiful. No, you do not. You do not. Peter.
I did this the way I did because I seen our nest.
I'm gonna give you the. No, I'm gonna give you.
No, and they had names, so it's put in the
Because
groups.
he.
So I got them.
Okay, go.
So I just.
See, organization, you get a 7.
In my group.
We can buy that.
Or we not.
Well, it's either,
Hey, come here.
Rainbow color so I can remember.
For these, it's either a 0, like a 6 or a 0.
Don't have to really modify it.
Oh, you
Because
can
it's
do
pretty
it.
good. So,
And even if you wanted to give them a 3,
Let me see it.
I should have made the line straight.
why would we accept?
Yeah, he looked up.
You want to come work for me? I'll pay you minimum wage. 75% of it.
He just looked up literally all
I
that.
mean, you would
I'll
put
pay
the.
75% of it.
If you put all that in, so if he
Because
puts,
3 out of 4 is a good enough for her.
hey,
That's
if
75%.
he provides all of that, provides information about it, he will get it back.
If he does, good job. I'll explain it.
But he loves it all out.
Hey,
Yeah, it's a-
Okay.
I don't want to do that. It's stupid for
You
work.
will. That's the whole reason we do it.
Yeah.
This is like
Yeah,
having
no, I agree with
your,
that.
this is like having your neighbor check your work before you hand it in.
Where did you identify?
We do it all the time in grade school, right?
That's
That's exactly what you
You
do.
did that, so you get to.
what?
What?
Remember grade school where you had to hand your papers to the person on the left and check each other's work? And then redo it and then hand it in? You still do that, but you're not supposed to? Here you're supposed to. That's what this test and evaluate is. You're checking each other's work, and then you're gonna get it back, and you're gonna change it, make it better, before you hand it in, before your final presentation, which is gonna be in front of everybody. And anybody else I can find in the building that wants to come watch.
No.
And it's gonna be recorded, put on YouTube. tell that one kid with this color hair, that color shirt, to include this next time.
I don't like this. I get nervous now, but I feel like I did like,
So, also, because this is going on YouTube, you should probably do your first name and not your last name.
Your mom.
When you do your
I'm Brad
presentation.
Johnson and I'm a star.
Hey, how do you grade at least 2 peer evaluations?
Did they? So, today, that won't work. So you can just ignore it and give it here. But next time, when they do an actual presentation, are they turning in?
So the stuff that, the peers
Guys,
that,
how are you going to get at least 2 peer evaluations and include their comments in your explanation?
Tell it, say it.
Can you do that today?
I did. Already did that.
That's what you're doing today. You're getting
We
peer
don't have
comments.
spreadsheets, right? I'm not.
This needs to be a part of your final submission.
Every other day.
This, right here. I need to know who did this. That's who you're evaluating. You wrote on it. I need to know that you wrote on it.
Oh, he's not doing so.
We need to evaluate your state. And there's no place for that. And there maybe should. There you go.
so like, in our explanation, we could like, write down what their comments and,
So, are you only going to have one?
No, you have to have
Of
2,
these?
so you can get.
You have to have 2 of these or else you get a zero.
Okay,
So you have to have somebody else do this for you. Yeah. So that you get more than one opinion.
So I'll
Because
print off everybody else.
maybe.
Okay.
Did you
also,
want
I
to
need her to do it and
Or
then like
11?
somebody else.
Yes. You need at least 2 people to do this for you. Because one person's going to notice things and a different person's going to notice differently.
Hey, what?
When you say it's include,
And there's
this
some
and this and that,
Yep.
what do you mean by that? Because it's in
If they're already here.
Sure.
And any of that that's not here,
That's
you need to put in your written explanation.
I'll link you. Modify these,
Are they
Wait!
When I get
We're talking about
I
Hey, stop.
So that explanation either needs to be here and in your oral presentation or needs to be in your written.
Oh, like I always, I'll put the, portable ones.
That's what we did.
Hey,
You don't
a
have
question.
That's all right here. If you do it,
What was it?
yes.
Hey, I have a question. What is modified based on peer? This is a big word though.
He's going to take these, and he's going to go back to his own little world, and he's going to change what he did. He's going to change maybe his product. He's going to change maybe what he said, maybe change what he wrote. He's going to modify it, make it better. And if you wrote down a 0 here, why?
Because he has, written explanation is not good because he's not.
Okay, you need to write that.
Alright, I'll do it again.
You need to write that, so that both he can figure it out and get it in there, like at 9.
Oh, middle school lab.
Whenever he works on it. And also, so that I can.
That's
look
why I
at
drew
this
a
and say,
arrow.
he didn't include this, you need to write it. He didn't include this.
Okay, didn't include
And then,
that.
when I go and look, and it says modify based on your evaluation, I'm gonna come back here and look at this. And I'm gonna say, didn't include this crap. And, yeah. And it's gonna say, he did a really good job on this part, or he did that on this part, or whatever. And is that what he did? Okay.
So you have to go recorrect all this before.
No, you have.
We need more papers
This
than
one
we
is
did, just want to get them.
13 days.
And now what about this?
Hi, Ron.
Hannah,
Do you know what he
read
needs
us
to
off
One of this? This?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm reading.
I can't get
Alright,
it,
we can move on.
I mean, it doesn't need to be colored.
of these. These are our,
This is written one.
should have.
Yes, it was.
I
You don't save your photo.
I did, but then when I was
Yeah, we need 3 more of these off.
Did you
So
write
other
it?
ones printed
I
off.
should have made the same happen as the other guys.
Okay, that's our meeting. Is it clear, organized, and complete?
Yeah, that's.
No, it's not complete. It's not very complete.
So I'll give you three. And I'm gonna draw an arrow back over you, because that's how you're not. Wait!
And then you're gonna write the including it, because I have to look at this, and it might be 11 o'clock at night, and it might be 3 days after I did the presentation.
I don't
And
know.
that's one of the things was clear, and
I'm not
complete
gonna
communication.
Oh!
I don't have any of.
Alright, Jake, you got it.
Because I rearranged it.
Sophie, you okay?
Well, everything is something.
So who
So I can't correct yours yet.
Oh, yeah.
I'll correct yours.
So you and that.
Anybody know the people?
And you said you should have looked at it. So I did. But I didn't.
I didn't-
Right.
Tammy, somebody.
Everybody needs
correct.
to-
Bobby, can I correct yours?
But now you gotta write another bill. Did all three of you do first day? If all three of you do first day, you have to help everybody else, because they can help you. Did you write your name on the evaluations that you did?
Hold on. I correct you. Okay, what did you say? What did you say?
Because
I modify everybody
Wrote their name on the evaluations.
Okay, I can't correct yours.
You got a whole 50%.
Or you can evaluate your zero. Because we got half an hour class on. Less than that.
Just give you.
Now, if you want somebody